Hello students, welcome to Prime Time by CivicCentre IAS. Today we'll be covering geography current affairs and the places in news in the week of 22nd to 28th September 2025. Today we have 4 topics in brief and the topic of importance of this week is Super Typhoon Ragasa. And we'll also discuss the places in news which are in headlines. So going over to the topics. So firstly we'll discuss about the Barren Island and the commissioning of the Oju Hydel project. And the third one is new Tiny Quasi-Moon. And fourth one is Coffee Board. And we'll also discuss the topic of importance, which is Super Typhoon Ragasa. And the places in news are Varkala Cliff, Morocco, Venezuela, Kenya, Santorini Volcano, and Kolumbo volcanoes, and Mahendragiri Hills and Tirah Valley. So now going into the first topic in brief, which is Barren Island. So minor volcanic eruptions were noticed twice in the span of 8 days at Barren Island in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands recently. So if we see the key concept in news, we'll see about the Barren Island volcano. So it is the only active volcano in India and South Asia, and it is a stratovolcano. Right. So ikkada stratovolcano ante repeated eruptions valla layer by layer build aina volcano. So steep cone shape లో ఫామ్ అవుతుంది అండ్ మోస్ట్లీ కన్వర్జెంట్ ప్లేట్ బౌండరీస్ దగ్గర stratovolcano form అవుతుంది. If we see the examples of the stratovolcano, they are, the first one is Mount Fuji of Japan, and the second one is Mount Vesuvius of Italy, right? And the third one is Mount St. Helens of USA. So these are some examples of the stratovolcano. And the third one is, and it first recorded eruption in the year 1787, and it erupted twice in the year 2025, that is in this year. So learning more about this volcano. So it is located in the Andaman Sea, about 138 kilometers northeast of Port Blair. 138 kilometers, which is northeast of the Port Blair, which is part of Andaman and Nicobar Islands under Indian territory. So this island is inhabited by humans, that is harsh volcanic conditions prevent human settlements. And it is surrounded by the deep oceanic crust. And it lies above the subduction zone of India and Burmese plates. That is, it lies on the Indian plate. It lies on the Indian plate near its subduction zone under the Burma plate. It has 2 kilometers wide caldera. Caldera is a large, you can see in this picture, caldera is a large bowl-shaped halo formed when a volcano collapses after a big eruption. And in this big crater, there is a small cone-shaped mountain. This is an active part of volcano where eruption takes place, and it rises from the bottom of the caldera like a mini volcano inside a giant ball. So in Barren Island, it is 2 kilometers. It is 2 kilometers wide like giant crater, and it is open to the sea on the west side, meaning sea water can enter from that direction. So this is about the Barren Island. Now we'll go to the next topic in brief, that is the commissioning of the Oju Hydel project. So the Union Environment Ministry had cleared 2,220 megawatts of Oju hydroelectric project on the Subansiri River in Taksing, which is in Upper Subansiri district of Arunachal Pradesh district. So it is a concrete gravity dam with 355-meter long and 95 meters high. And the catchment area is approximately 9,800 kilometers. And it strengthens India's strategic presence near China border through infrastructure development. And it provides clean power supporting renewable targets and reducing fossil dependence. We will learn about the Subansiri River. The river begins in Lhotse, which is in Tibet in the eastern Himalayas. And it enters India via the Meher Hills flowing the upper Subansiri district. The river descends into the plains of lower Subansiri, enters Assam, nourishing floodplains and supporting the agriculture. And it finally merges with the Brahmaputra River near Majuli Island, one of the world's largest river and island. So the Oju hydroelectric project is in Upper Subansiri district, which is in Arunachal Pradesh. So the tributaries of the Subansiri River are Rumbundi, Dikrong, Kamle, Charchu and Sarichu. And Subansiri River is also called as a gold river due to rich sediment and cultural value. So this is all about Subansiri River. Let's go to the next topic. So we'll now see about the Quasi-Moon. Right. So Earth's new cosmic companion, which is the Quasi-Moon, was discovered by the astronomers. So here Quasi-Moon is a near Earth asteroid, right? Is a near Earth asteroid that orbits around the sun but stays gravitationally close to the Earth to circle our planet like a temporary satellite. So if we see more about the Quasi-Moon, so they are not traditional moons, that is, they don't orbit Earth directly, but instead they follow an orbit around the sun which is synchronized with the Earth. And it creates an illusion that they are accompanying our planet. It is first spotted on 29th August 2025 by Pan-STARRS telescope at Varkala's observatory. Old data reveals that it had been seen as early as 2014. For learning more about it, so if we see the size, orbit and stability, the size is 62 feet, which is the smallest, and its least stable quasi-moon, which is known to Earth. And the orbit, it doesn't orbit around the Earth directly, but it follows a synchronized orbit. That is, it follows a synchronized solar orbit. And it completes one revolution around the sun in 1 year, just like the Earth. If they see the stability, it is expected to last for another 60 years. It is expected to last for another 60 years, after which gravitational force may alter its path. But if you see the comparison with the Kamuhaleva, which is the most stable quasi-moon, and it's an ongoing research target. So if you see the scientific significance, it helps the scientist to study small bodies that come closer to the Earth, which is crucial for tracking potential threats and planning space missions. And the second one is planetary defense. That is, it improves the strategies to detect and deflect hazardous asteroids. And the third one is the temporary satellites, that it shows how some objects can stay near the Earth and also for decades for being the true moons. It offers insights to the quasi-orbits and how gravity shapes its motion. So now going to the next topic in brief. So if we see the future observations, it has potential for more discoveries. That is, there might be other quasi-moons orbiting with sync in the Earth, but it is yet to be detected due to small size and faint visibility. And the second one is about the scientific goals. That is, researchers aim to uncover about details about the composition, spin, and the origin. Like if we see the composition, what materials it is made up of, and the spin, that how it rotates, and origin, where it came from, and how it entered into India's orbital neighborhood. And why it matters, that quasi-moon, why it matters. So studying such objects helps scientists better understand its near-Earth space environment and dynamics of small asteroids that share the Earth's solar path, and thirdly, possibility of hidden celestial bodies, that is, they may be orbiting but unnoticed. And the fourth point is space mission potential, that quasi-moons like 2025 PN7, which could become targets for future space missions, that is especially for exploration, resource extraction, testing spacecraft technologies due to its proximity and the sizes. Now, if we see the next topic in brief, that is about Coffee Board. So the Coffee Board to hold awareness programs on EUDR compliance, says CEO. That is, the Coffee Board of India is planning to conduct the awareness programs to educate coffee growers, farmers, and stakeholders about EUDR compliance. So learning more about EUDR, so it stands for European Union Deforestation Regulation, which is effective from the year 2023. And it mandates that products like coffee, cocoa, soya, and timber, and etc. must not be grown on the deforested land. This means that India should prove that it is not linked to deforestation to be eligible for the exports to the Europe. Now, if we see more about it, India exports coffee beans to Italy, Germany, Russia, Belgium, and USA. It exported nearly $1.24 billion in the financial year 2024. Now, if we see more about it, so the many Indian coffee growers are the smallholders who may not known about these new rules. Farmers ki awareness programs valla export అనేది safe అవుతాయి. That is, the exporters must prove that their coffee is grown without harming the forest. So if we see more about the coffee, so if we see the history about the coffee beans, in the year 1670, an Indian pilgrim who is Baba Budan, he smuggled 7 coffee beans from Yemen and planted in the Chikmagalur hills of Karnataka. So the climatic conditions needed for this coffee beans is the temperature needed is 15 to 28 degrees Celsius and the rainfall is 150 to 250 centimeters. The soil is loamy, humus rich and iron and calcium, and elevation it needs that it is about 600 to 1600 meters, and it needs shade and dry weather for the ripening. That India is the only country producing 100% shade grown coffee. And there are two types of the coffee beans, that is the Arabica and Robusta. And if we see Arabica, it is grown at the higher altitudes. It has the higher market value. And if we see the Robusta, it is very strong and it is bitter in taste. And it is a disease resistant, which also has the higher yield. And if we see the GI tagged varieties of the coffee beans in India, the first one is the Coorg Arabica. Coorg Arabica, and the second one is Vayanan Robusta, right? And the third one is Araku Valley Arabica, which secured the GI tag in the year 2018. So these three coffee beans have secured GI tag in the year 2018. And India is the seventh largest producer of the coffee, and among them, Brazil is the first largest producer of the coffee. So the Coffee Board is a statutory board established by the Government of India under the Coffee Act 1942. So it operates under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and it is headquartered in the Bangalore, which is in Karnataka. So this is all about the coffee beans. And now moving next. So if we see the topic of importance, that is the Super Typhoon Ragasa. That is, China is planning to evacuate 4 lakh people ahead of the landfall of Super Typhoon Ragasa. So the name Ragasa meaning rage or fury for its destruction. The name Ragasa meaning rage or fury for its destructive power. And Ragasa has intensified into a category 5. So category 5 super typhoon with wind speeds exceeding 250 kilometers per hour. So if you see more about this, so the key concept here is the cyclone. So it is derived from the Greek word cyclos, meaning coils of the snake. It is coined by the Henry Peddington because tropical cyclones in the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea, which appears like a coiled serpents of the sea. And if we see the definition of the cyclone, these are caused by atmospheric differences around a low pressure area and distinguished by a swift and often destructive air circulation. And it is accompanied by violent storms and bad weather. And in the northern hemisphere, the air circulates in a clockwise direction. And if you see the classification, there are majorly there are two types of the cyclones. That is a extratropical cyclones, which is also called as a temperate cyclones. And the second one is a tropical cyclones. So if we see more about this, so if we see the formation of the cyclone, it is majorly in the 3 stages. The first one is the formation and initial development of the stage. And the second one is a mature tropical stage cyclone. And the third one is the modification and the decay stage. So we'll see one by one. The first one is the formation and initial development. So the first one is the warm ocean water. That is, sea surface temperature must be above 26 degrees Celsius up to 60 meters deep. And the second one is the evaporation. That is, warm water evaporates and it adds moisture to the air. And thirdly, atmospheric instability. That is, the rising warm air, it creates a vertical clouds due to convection. And the fourth one is a condensation. That is, the air cools, condenses, release latent heat, and it fuels a storm. Mature tropical cyclone stage. The first one is the strong updrafts. Air rises rapidly in thunderstorms, and at high altitude, air spreads out and creates a low pressure above. Now, the air subsides, that is, the air sinks around the center. It warms by the compression and forms an eye. It can be circular, or it can be concentric, or it can also be elliptical. And giant cumulus clouds spiral around the eye. This is the cyclone's powerhouse. Now, if you see the last stage, that is a modification and the decay stage, that is why cyclone weaken. The first one is a landfall. That is, once a cyclone hits the land, it loses the access to the warm ocean moisture. And the second one is the cold waters. That is, if it moves over the cooler seas, the energy supplies can drop. And the third one is the loss of warm air. That is, if there is no fuel, the cyclone loses speed, pressure drops, and then structure breaks down. So these are the three stages in the formation of a cyclone. So if we see more about this.
Hello everyone. As you all know, Civil Services Prime Time is one of its kind initiative where we are teaching the students current affairs related to the particular subject one day at a time. అంటే ఒక వారంలో జరిగిన కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ అన్ని ఒక సబ్జెక్ట్ కి సంబంధించి మేము ఒక రోజులో చెప్తున్నాం. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ ఆల్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ద రివర్స్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ టెక్నిక్. బికాస్ మీరు ప్రతి వీడియో చూసినట్టయితే ఎండ్ లో ప్రీవియస్ ఇయర్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ప్రిలిమ్స్ చేస్తున్నాము, అలాగే ఒక క్వశ్చన్ మెయిన్స్ చేస్తాం. సో in order to get daily updates at 7 o'clock sharp as we are doing it, subscribe చేసుకోండి, అలాగే bell కూడా click చేయండి so that 7 o'clock కి మీకు immediate గా notification వస్తుంది.
So if you see the worldwide terminology of the cyclone or the typhoon, the first one is the typhoon, which is used in the China Sea and Pacific Ocean, and the hurricanes, that is, it is used in the Western Indian Islands in the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. And the third one is the tornadoes, that is in the Guinea lands of West Africa and Southern USA. And the fourth one is Willy Willies, that is, it is being used in the northwestern Australia. And the last one is tropical cyclone, which is majorly used in the Indian Ocean. So this is all about worldwide terminology. Right. So moving to the next. So if you see the major factors of the cyclone, the first one is the Fenelon effect, that the air sinks down. There is a subsidence of the air. And the second one is the fall in the atmospheric pressure over the sea surface. And the third one is the angle and speed at which the storm approaches the ocean. And the fourth one are the tides. And the fifth one is the effect of the wind. And lastly, influence of the seabed. So this is all about the cyclone. So moving to the next topic. So we'll discuss the places in news which are in headlines. The first one is the Varkala cliff. So recently UNESCO has placed the Varkala cliff on its tentative list of World Heritage Site. So in the last week, we have also seen about the Eramatti Dibalu, which has been placed in the tentative list of the World Heritage Site. So moving about the Varkala cliff. So it is in Thiruvananthapuram district, which is in southwestern coast of the Kerala. So it exposes the Varkali formation of the Mayo-Pliocene age. That is, the Varkali formation refers to the special layers of the rocks and soil formed on the Varkala region. So it is like a natural archive that stores earth history. And it has a sedimentary and laterite layers. That means layers of the soil and rocks are more slowly deposited over millions of years, like the pages in the book. And the Mayo-Pliocene is the name of the time period of the Earth's history between 1.3 to 2.5 million years ago. There is a rich fossils and paleoclimatic evidence, and there is a rare continuous cliff formation along the Kerala coast. An unusually long and uninterrupted stretch of steep rocky cliffs found in the Kerala shoreline, that is something not commonly found elsewhere in India. And it is a unique coastal cliff in Kerala with natural springs and marine biodiversity. So moving on to the next places in news, which is Morocco. Recently, India and Morocco signed a memorandum of understanding, that is a MOU, on defense cooperation in Rabat, which is the capital city of Morocco, with the defense minister of India, who is Honorable Rajnath Singh. So we'll learn more about the Morocco. So the capital city of Morocco is Rabat, and it lies in the Maghreb region. That is, it refers to the northwestern Africa, which is bordered by the Mediterranean Sea to the north and Atlantic Ocean to the west, and Sahara Desert to the south, and Europe across the Strait of Gibraltar. And it is bordered by that is, Morocco is bordered by the Atlantic Ocean, Mediterranean Sea, and the Morocco is bordered by the Atlantic Ocean to the west and Mediterranean Sea on the north, and Algeria to the east, and Western Sahara on the south. So these are the boundary countries of the Morocco. And if we see more about it, so it has the Atlas Mountains. You can see here, the Atlas Mountains are stretched diagonally across Morocco, and the Rif Mountains are in the north near to the Mediterranean coast, and the Sahara Desert. And you can see here, it's in the southeastern Morocco. And it is located in the Marrakesh. Marrakesh, it is a cultural hotspot. So, Marrakesh is located in the central Morocco here, central Morocco. It is known as Red City due to its red sandstone architecture. Okay. So it stands as a key center for the tourism and trade and handicrafts. And it also hosted conference of parties in the year 2022. And it also hosted conference of parties in the year 2016. And it controls the Strait of Gibraltar linking to the Atlantic Ocean and Mediterranean Sea, making it a strategic link between the Africa and the Europe. So this is all about Morocco. Let's see the next place in news, which is in the headlines. So the third one is the Venezuela. Recently, according to the US Geological Survey, a 6.2 magnitude earthquake jolted northwest Venezuela. So here, if we see the measurement of an earthquake, the Richter scale is a logarithmic scale to measure the magnitude of an earthquake, that is the total energy released at its source. Now, this is the first one, that is the Richter scale, and the second one is the Mercalli scale. It measures the intensity of an earthquake based on effects on people, buildings, and the earth surface at the specific locations. The Richter scale is a logarithmic scale which measures the magnitude of an earthquake, and the second one is the Mercalli scale which measures the intensity of an earthquake. Right. So if we see the Venezuela, the capital of Venezuela is a Caracas. So you can, in the picture, you can see the Caracas, which is the capital city of Venezuela. And it is bordered by the Guyana to the east and Brazil to the south and Colombia to the southwest on the southwest. And it also shares the maritime boundaries with the Caribbean Sea and Atlantic Ocean. Now, there is a presence of the world's largest petroleum reserves, which is rich in minerals and hydroelectric potential. Right. So, to the Maracaibo lowlands, which is rich in oil. That is, they are flat and swampy terrain. They are of swampy terrain around the lake of Maracaibo, which is rich in oil but sparsely populated. The Venezuela experiences the tropical climate. There is a presence of the Guyana highlands. They are flat-topped mountains and they are rich in endemic flora and fauna. Venezuela is home to world's tallest waterfalls, that is the Angel Waterfalls. And lastly, it has approximately 2,800 kilometers of the Caribbean coastline, which supports the tourism, fishing and trade. So this is all about Venezuela. Moving to the next topic, that is the Kenya. So recently, the India's Navy first training squadron, comprising of INS Tir, INS Sujata, INS Shardul and ICGS Sharathi, made a port call at Mombasa, which is a port in Kenya. So this is a port you can see here, which is in the Kenya. So as a part of the long range training mission in the Southwest Indian Ocean region, the Indian Navy ship visited the Mombasa port of the Kenya. So this is about the news. So we'll see about the Kenya. So it is located in the East Africa, which is bordering Indian Ocean. And equator passes through the central Kenya. Here you can see here the 0 degrees. It passes through the central Kenya. And if you see the boundaries of the Kenya, so the Ethiopia is bordered to the north and Somalia is bordered to the northeast and Uganda is bordered to the west and Tanzania, it is bordered to the south and South Sudan, it is bordered to the northwest and Indian Ocean, it is bordered to the southeast of the Kenya. So if we see the physical features of the Kenya, there is a Great Rift Valley. There is a Great Rift Valley that runs to the north to south of the Kenya. It is formed by the Great Rift Valley is formed by the tectonic plate diversion. And the Mount Kenya is the second highest peak in Africa. That is in the picture you can see this is the Mount Kenya, which is the second highest peak in Africa. And this mountain is also UNESCO World Heritage Site. Now, if we see the lakes in this country, the first one is the Lake Victoria. It is a shade between the Uganda and Tanzania. And the second one is Lake Turkana. It is the world's largest desert lake. And the agriculture, if you see the agriculture in the Kenya region, they grow coffee, tea, maize and the sugarcane. And the strategic importance is the port of Mombasa. It is a natural deep water port. It is the largest and busiest of the African country. And it acts as a transit hub for the landlocked African nations. So this is all about the Kenya. Let's move to the next place. The fifth one is the Santorini and Kolumbo volcanoes. So recently, an earthquake swarm of over 1,200 quakes around the Santorini revealed that Santorini and the submerged Kolumbo volcano shared an underground magma reservoir. So this is the news about these islands. So we'll see the one by one. The first one is the Santorini volcano. If we see the location of this Santorini volcano, it is in the southern Aegean Sea and it lies with the Hellenic volcanic arc. That is, this arc is a chain of active and dormant volcanoes, right, in the southern Aegean Sea. And it is formed due to the subduction of the African plate beneath the Eurasian plate along the Hellenic subduction zone. So here subduction. So if we see the subduction, it is a geological process where a one tectonic plate, so in this picture reference, you can see the one tectonic plate slides beneath another, sinks into the Earth's mantle. It is usually occurs at the convergent plate boundaries. That is the convergent plate boundaries where an oceanic plate. So this is an oceanic plate. It moves under the continental plate. So this is about the subduction. Now, if we see the formation of a Santorini volcano, it is due to the subduction of an African plate beneath the Eurasian plate, and it is formed after the caldera collapse. So it is formed after the caldera collapse, after the muon, which is the Tirah eruption around 1600 BC. That is, it is one of the largest eruption in recorded history. So this island is a crescent shape and surrounding by a central caldera which is filled with the seawater. And it is near the Kameni and Palia Kameni, which has two active volcano islets within the caldera. And this terrain includes steep cliffs and volcanic ash layers and also lava domes. That is, there is an evidence of the repeated eruptions. If we see the next volcano, that is the Kolumbo volcano, it is a submarine volcano, right? And it is located in the Aegean Sea, approximately 7 kilometers northeast to the Santorini island, which is in Greece. It is a part of Hellenic volcanic arc, which is a chain of the active and dormant volcanoes. Now, it is formed by the subduction of the African plate beneath the Eurasian plate. If you see the physical features of this Kolumbo volcano, it lies below the sea level, that is under the Aegean Sea, with its crater about 500 meters deep. And the last major eruption is in the year 1650 AD, which caused tsunamis, toxic gas emissions, and also loss of life nearby islands. So this is about the Santorini and the Kolumbo volcanoes. So next is the Mahendragiri Hills. So the Mahendragiri Hills in Odisha are in news because of growing environmental conditions such as, so the Mahendragiri Hills in Odisha are in news because of the ongoing environmental concerns such as unchecked tourism, large-scale construction, deforestation and wildlife decline. So if we see the location of the Mahendragiri Hills, it is situated in the Gajapati district, Odisha, and they are part of the Eastern Ghats right. So if we see the topography, they are of steep slopes, rugged terrain and dissected plateaus and deep valleys. And the Mahendragiri Hills are also known as Mahendra Parvata in Ramayana and Mahabharata. And the Panchapandava temples, that is, these temples are associated with the Mahabharata legends, believed to be built by Pandavas during the exile. And also Shiva shrines, thousands of devotees trek to the hilltop during the Mahashivaratri. And the Saura and the Kon tribes depend on the forest produced and shifting cultivation. And this Mahendragiri Hills are being declared as a biodiversity heritage site in the year 2022. So this is about the Mahendragiri Hills. Let's go to the next topic. It is the Tirah Valley. So more than 20 people were being killed and several homes were being destroyed in the Tirah Valley of Pakistan Khyber province on Monday, that is September 22nd, in an explosion. So if we see about the Tirah Valley, it is located in the northwestern Pakistan. So it is not located in the northwestern Pakistan within the Khyber province. And it lies between the Khyber Pass and Orakzai Agency near the Afghanistan border. And it is part of the Hindu Kush mountain system. and it is inhabited mainly by the Pashtun tribes. So Pashtun tribes are the Iranian ethnic groups which are native to the Afghanistan and northwest Pakistan. So if we see the physical features of the Tirah Valley, it is being surrounded by the rugged hills and deep gorges. And it has an elevation which ranges from the 1,500 to 3,000 meters. And it is known for the deep forests, steep terrain and seasonal rice. So this is all about the Tirah Valley. Now let's discuss about the previous year's questions. So the first question, it appeared in the year 2020. So if you see the question, saying consider the following statement. So the first statement is jet stream occur in northern hemisphere only. And the second statement is only some cyclones develop NI. And the third statement is the temperature inside the eye of a cyclone is nearly 10 degrees Celsius lesser than that of a surroundings. So here given which of the statements given above is or are correct. So among the given options, this option C, which is 2 only, is correct. Now if you see the first statement that it is given jet stream occur in only north hemisphere only. Jet streams can be observed in northern hemisphere and also southern hemisphere. And the second statement is that only some cyclones develop an eye. That is, it is because of the strong and well organized cyclones from an eye. Now, if you see the third statement, that is the temperature inside the eye of a cyclone is nearly 10 degrees Celsius less than that of a surroundings. Now, the temperature inside the cyclone is warmer than the surrounding areas. So, this is the option which is 2 only is correct. So, now going into the next previous year's question. So, question 2. So, this question appeared in the year 2018, which says, consider the following statements. The first statement is the Barren Island volcano is an active volcano located in the Indian territory. And the second statement is that the Barren Island lies about the 140 kilometers east of the Great Nicobar. And the third statement is the last time Barren Island volcano erupted was in the year 1991 and it has remained inactive since then. So which of the statement given above is or are correct? So among the given options, option A, 1 only is correct. So if you see the statements, that is the first statement, the Barren Island volcano is an active volcano. It is an active volcano located in the Andaman Sea in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And if we see the option 2, that it lies about 140, it is not about 140 kilometers, it is about 135 kilometers. Right. And it lies to the northeast of the Port Blair in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And the third statement is that the last time the Barren Island erupted in the year 2018, not 1991. So this is the question. Next, going to the next previous year question, that is, so here asked Mediterranean Sea is a border of which of the following countries? Given options, Jordan, Iraq, Lebanon and Syria. So asked, select the correct answer using the code given below. So among the given options, Lebanon and Syria are the countries which border to the Mediterranean Sea. So this is all about the question. Let's go to the next previous year question. So it appeared in the year 2022, asked, consider the following statements. The first statement given Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Himachal Pradesh and Tripura. So how many of the above are generally known as tea producing states? So among the given options, option D, which is the all 4 state, is the correct answer. And apart from that, Assam, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Uttarakhand and Meghalaya also are the tea producing states. And among them, Assam is the largest producer of tea in India. So this is about the question 4. Let's go to the question 5. So this question was given in the year 2015, right? So consider the following place, that is the place of pilgrimage location. The first one is Sri Salem, paved with Nalamala Hills, Omkareshwar, which is paved with Satmala Hills, and Pushkar, which is paved with Mahadeva Hills. So which of the above place is or are correctly matched? So among the given options, option A, 1 only, is the correct answer. So if you see the statement 2, which is the Omkareshwar, it is situated on the Mandata Hills, which is in Madhya Pradesh. And Omkareshwar is a Shaiva temple. And the Pushkar lies in the Ajmer, Rajasthan. So now let's go to the mains question. Right. So this mains question appeared in the year 2022. So this key concept is on cyclones. So question given here is the discuss the meaning of this color-coded weather warnings of the cyclone-prone areas given by the Indian Meteorological Department. Right. So the aspect to be addressed in this question is the first one is a briefly mention the role of Indian Meteorological Department in cyclone forecasting and public safety. And the second one is the mention the color-coded warnings issued by the Indian Meteorological Department for the cyclones, such as green, right? Green as no warning, and normal situation, and yellow as be aware, that is to stay alert. And the third color is the orange, right, to be prepared. And the fourth color is red, that is to take actions, and to follow the official instructions. So this is the color coded warnings. And thirdly, include these warnings which are based on the cyclone intensity, wind speed, rainfall, and storm surge predictions. And fourthly, lastly, conclude that the importance of these warnings in disaster risk reduction, saving lives, and minimal damage. So this is the conclusion you can take for this question, right? So this is all about the mains question. Also send your answers to response@civiccentre.in. We will be evaluating your answers as well. I hope you have understood all the topics. Let's find out. Thank you.
CivicCentre IAS is offering Telangana Group 1 Prelims cum Mains classes as well as Andhra Pradesh Group 1 Prelims cum Mains classes in English medium for a period of 8 to 10 months. This also covers the complete NCERT textbooks and statewide textbooks. So, what are you waiting for? Learn through reverse engineering technique today. Admissions are in progress. Join now. Visit our website. Thank you.